Welcome to our Nozbe tutorial series. In this practical video series, you'll learn a handful of tips and tricks that will help you get things done with Nozbe. If you're a non-native English speaker, chances are this tutorial has already been translated to your language. Just visit your local Nozbe help page or click the link in the description to open the playlist with a localized video guide. We are going to show you all the modules and features that come with Nozbe 3. You'll mostly see our desktop app. But what's great about Nozbe is that mobile apps are very similar to the desktop one and offer the same options. One of our key values is being mobile, so we make sure you have 100% of Nozbe's features available on mobile devices. Let's get started. Playing with the interface. This is Nozbe's main view. It is divided into two parts, a panel with the apps sections on the left and the main column on the right side. Let's go through all the sections of the app to make sure you know how to use them. Some of the sections have an additional sidebar. For example, when you click on the project section, the project list will slide out from the left. In the main column, you'll see the task list. Here you can see each task's name and its key details like number of comments, due date, responsibility, etc. When you choose a task, its details will show up on the right side of your Nozbe window. You can easily change the task parameters and add comments here. In the right pane, you can also see an infobar. It displays some extra options that we will discuss later in this tutorial. Adding tasks. Adding a task with the plus button. Priority view is your command center. Imagine an idea pops into your head when you're checking your tasks for today. You can quickly add it to your Nozbe simply by using the plus button at the bottom of the app's main view. The new task will be added to your inbox and marked with a star, which means that it will also be visible on your priority list. It's a good way to add tasks that you want to review later. For example, maybe you just realize you haven't talked to your sister for a while, but you can't call her right now. If you click the plus button while looking at one of your projects, your new task will be added right there. You can also decide whether you want your new task to be added to the top or bottom of your inbox or the task list in your project. This is useful when you add high-priority items and want to see them at the top of the list. Just click on the magic arrow to change between the top and bottom mode. Desktop Quick Add. We know you use many different apps. If you don't want to lose focus when working on a task, just hit the keyboard shortcut and a Nozbe Quick Add window will appear. Write what you want to do later and continue your work smoothly. This feature is available in our apps for Mac OS and Windows. You can customize the Quick Add shortcut in Nozbe's settings. Email integration. Do you spend hours reading and replying to emails? It's likely that some of them are actionable and require specific steps. You can forward it to your task list in Nozbe. This way, Nozbe will be your only center for tasks and projects, one inbox to rule them all. Here's how it works. Every user has a personal Nozbe email address that can be easily set up. Just go to Settings, then Integrations. Choose your unique nickname and PIN, and your email address will be yournickname.yourpin@nozbe.me. You can modify your PIN in the Settings section whenever you want. Now, every time you receive an email that should become a task, just forward it to your secret Nozbe email and it will appear on your task list. It's that easy. The subject of the email will be the task name and the email body will be added to this task as a comment. This integration helps you make emails actionable and process your mailbox efficiently. We'll show you more tips and tricks regarding this integration a little bit later. Widgets, Android and iOS. There are a couple more ways to add a task to Nozbe. We believe it should be super easy and available across the system. That's why you can find a Nozbe Plus button in your Android widgets and under Ongoing Notification, as well as in your iOS dashboard widgets. This way, you can add a task without even opening the Nozbe app. Share Sheet Extension, iOS. If you see a website that you want to check out later but you don't want to keep it open in your browser, you can easily add it to your Nozbe via the Share Sheet extension. Wherever iOS lets you share something across your system, you can add a task to your list in Nozbe. It can be a tweet, a link to an app from the App Store, or a document from your disk in the cloud. The possibilities are practically endless. Pro tip. Here comes a special pro tip for you. When entering a task, you can add extra parameters to make it more specific and easier to complete. It doesn't matter if you add a task through the application, via email, share sheet, or any other way. Hashtags will help you. For example, if you want to add a task to a specific project via the quick add bar, with a due date and an extra comment, you can do it quickly with hash signs without even opening the app. As you can see, you don't have to insert a whole parameter name. Nozbe is smart enough to know that RAND stands for your Random Private Tasks project. Use single hashes for parameters and a double hash to add a comment. There it is, all parameters and a comment are included. Projects and tasks in Nozbe. Here you can see my project list. Free Nozbe accounts are limited to 5 projects. Paying customers can create an unlimited number of projects. Let's create a new one. Let's assume that my website needs a fresh look. It needs some major changes. In the project view in Nozbe, you can see your project list and task list. That's it. This way you can focus on getting things done. You will find all the project settings and options in the infobar. We will talk more about that a bit later. For now, let's create a few tasks. John is a friend of mine who redesigned his blog a few weeks ago. I think his experience will help me out. Task parameters. When you open a task, its details will appear. All its parameters are available here. Let's move the Meet with John task to my private project to show you how easy it is. There will be quite a lot to do here. I'd better invite my assistant to this project so that she can help me. Collaboration is key. By the way, take a look at the project icons. This one stands for a shared project, and this one means that the project is private. Thanks to images, it's easy to distinguish them on a long projects list. Let's get back to our project. We need a new skin, and Sarah has a better sense of design. I'd better delegate this task to her so that the project can move forward right away. Let's set a deadline for this task to be sure it's ready by Friday. The task parameters improve your performance by providing you and your colleagues with specific information on what should be done and when. The new site will have a section for first-time visitors. I want it to be really well crafted, so I'm planning to work on it for a few hours. Testimonials play an important role. I'll be asking clients for some positive feedback today. Hopefully they reply promptly. And as I work with new fantastic clients, it would be great to learn what they think on a regular basis. Not too often though, I don't want to bother anyone. Why not to set the recurrence for this task then and be reminded to contact new clients every 3 months? This way, if I mark this task as done today, it will jump back on the priority list in 3 months. This feature is great when you want to do something periodically. The last parameter a task can have is category. You will learn about that in an upcoming video in this series. Comments and extra features. Sometimes you need to precisely describe the task you delegate to get the result you expect. You can do that in a comment. Let's explain the idea of the new site to Sarah. Apart from text comments, you can also use short checklists, links, YouTube videos, images, and any other files to comment on tasks in Nozbe. We will talk more about comments and collaboration in one of the next episodes in this series. Now let's take care of the video to be placed on the home page. That's quite a challenging task. While creating this project, we put down all the things and actions needed to create a new site, but we didn't really pay attention to the scope of the tasks listed. In this case, we need to write a script, have it proofread, find someone who can record it, and then edit it and so on. As you can see, this task is, in fact, a project. No worries, in Nozbe you can convert a task into a project with a few simple steps. We will plan the video production project in more detail later on. Right now, it's time for photos and graphics. Sarah will definitely find something great online, but I also have some cool photos in my library. In order to avoid confusion, let's clone this task and delegate each copy to a different person. It's a super handy feature when you want to copy a task to your private project or delegate several similar tasks to your colleagues. When you clone a task that was not delegated to you, the new clone task will be. Let's set some more parameters for other tasks in this project and complete one. Look at the bottom of the main view. You can see the project statistics there. This works for every other project, inbox, and priority list too. It contains the number of tasks, active and completed today, as well as the time needed to complete all of them. providing you use the time needed parameter. Please note that all completed tasks will stay at the bottom of the list till the end of the day. This way, you can see how much you've done today. Afterwards, they'll be moved to the completed tasks section. Pro tip. Now it's time for our pro tip. When you click on the 3 dots icon at the bottom of the main view, you'll activate edit mode. This way, you can complete, change parameters, or move several tasks to a different project all at once. This also works from the project list view. Project infobar. Let's go back to our private project and open its infobar. This is how it looks if you don't share the project with anybody. Now let's move back to the shared project again so you can see the difference. As we've set a few task parameters, we can now filter tasks in this project. There are lots of filters available here, but you can only see those that apply to this project. We only want to see my tasks for now. There are lots of ways you can sort tasks, for instance, by due date. All filters and sorting options can be turned off with just one click. With the print feature, you can create a PDF file with projects, tasks, and comments. When you click on the avatar of another project participant, you'll see all collaborators. If you are a project admin, you can invite more people to the project right here. You can also change the project color. This change will be visible in many places in the interface. First, the whole project will be colored. Second, when you switch to the priority list, a big dot on the left side of the project name will be filled with your chosen color. It's a great way to quickly visualize what's on your priority list when you open Nozbe in the morning. Our users love using colors for projects. It's cool to customize your Nozbe system. The next 2 buttons in the project's info bar are labels and templates. We'll talk about them later on. At the very bottom, you can complete the whole project or delete it. Pro tip. Just one more thing. You can add an attachment to a project. It can be any kind of file, a link, or a simple note. In this view, you can also find all attachments added by anyone to any task in this project. These will always be listed below project attachments. Priority list. This is your priority list, your command center. All tasks that are delegated to you or that have to be completed today land here automatically. Sarah has just created a new task in our project and delegated it to me. It will automatically be marked with a star and appear on my priority list. If you have several projects and lots of tasks, you don't want to check them every day. When you need to focus on a task urgently, mark it with a star and it will show up on your priority list. These are your next actions. This task is due today, so Nozbe moved it to the priority list. I should do it right now, but there is still so much to learn about Nozbe that I'd better postpone it till tomorrow. The procedure is simple. I can either use a keyboard shortcut and change its due date or just unstar it. The task will jump to the priority list again after midnight. A star means that a task is your next action. You can mark tasks as priorities manually. Let's try with this one. Pro tip. Let me share a trick with you. Look what happens when you delegate a task to anyone in a shared project and set a deadline for tomorrow or later. When the due date comes, your task will appear on the priority list of every person in the project. You can use this method to ask all of the people involved in the project for feedback. Summary. There are 3 ways for a task to appear on your priority list. 1. When the day set as the deadline of a task comes, your task will be automatically marked as a priority. If you remove the star but don't change the due date, the task will appear on the priority list the next day with the overdue icon. 2. The second way is when someone delegates a task to you. This way, you won't miss anything that's important for your team. 3. You can also go to a project and mark a task as a priority on your own. Just click on the star on the right. Remember, the priority list view is your command center. It is similar to the next actions concept in the getting things done methodology. Of course, you can sort and filter this view in the exact same way you do with other lists in Nozbe. It's useful when you have too many priorities and want to focus on a specific topic or area of your life or business. Categories and labels. They are powerful features for creative and productive people like you. Let's see how they work. Categories are like context in the getting things done methodology. They could stand for places, people, or tools. and our users keep finding new ways to use them. It's great to adapt them to your own workflow. Let's create some standard categories like phone, home, work, errands, and a few more that could be useful for us. As you see, you can choose an icon and a color for each of them. Next, we assign relevant categories to specific tasks. This one is crucial for our project and its deadline shouldn't be missed. Let's just click on the task, choose a category, and confirm our choice. I'll add categories to other tasks and be back in a bit. Remember that you can also add a category to many tasks at once using Edit mode. Just use the 3 dots button at the bottom of your task list. Look at our priority list now. You can see a category icon below each task. The cool thing is you can filter your priority list by category if you want to shorten your list and focus on the most important tasks. It's simple. You can also see all your categories in a separate pane. They are divided into active categories and those with no tasks assigned. Choose a category to check out all relevant tasks. Labels. Now let's switch to labels. We think that too much structure isn't effective in the long run, so instead of introducing projects, sub-projects, or sub-sub-projects, we offer project labels. These are like categories, but you assign them to projects. They work in the same way, which means you can assign numerous labels to one project. To assign a label, simply go to your project, use the eye icon in the top right corner to get to the info bar and click Choose Labels. Here, you can also create new labels and assign them to your project. Let's add the private label to some personal projects and the work label to the job-related ones. If you have multiple projects related to your private life, label them as private. This way, you'll be able to easily filter your private tasks in your priority list view. It's a very useful feature if you have a lot of tasks on your priority list and need to group them. It's also the best way to quickly switch from your work tasks to private ones and the other way around. We have some work and some home-related tasks on the priority list. When at work, ask Nozbe to show only your work-related tasks. It's much easier to focus and get things done if you are not distracted by the tasks planned for later. Calendar view. This is the calendar view. It lets you look at your tasks from a different perspective. It shows tasks from all of the projects that you're involved with plus your private tasks. Remember, in this view, you only see tasks with a due date. I suggest setting a filter so that you only see your own tasks. If you are part of a bigger team, there might be a ton of stuff here. You can also sort this list, for example, alphabetically, but as you can see, every day behaves as a separate list. At the very top, you'll see all of your overdue tasks. Next, there are tasks for today, tomorrow, and so forth. Beneath every single day, there is a small summary. This can help you plan your days. Avoid overscheduling and keep from putting too much on your plate. Some people prefer working in this view. You see everything in chronological order and it's easy to see each of your tasks for every single day. It's easy to change task due dates in calendar view. Just drag and drop your tasks to arrange everything as you like. Adding a task to a specific date is also simplified in this view. Just click the plus button next to the desired date. If you set up a recurrence for a task, you'll also see future instances of it. Calendar view helps you manage your tasks and plan time efficiently. You can easily drag and drop tasks between days. As you see all your tasks scheduled for a specific week in one list, you can quickly adapt and optimize your weekly workload. If you want to switch to the next or the previous week, use the arrows at the top or click on the desired week in the scrollable month view. There is one more cool thing that I want to mention. If you use Google Calendar, you can synchronize Nozbe with your account. Just go to Nozbe's settings and choose Integrations. Then, sign into your Google account and allow Nozbe to manage your calendars. Now that everything is set up, how will it work? Tasks have due dates and times set in Nozbe will automatically appear in your calendar as busy. Tasks with only due dates set with no specific time indicated will appear as available all-day events. Collaboration. Nozbe is a game changer for company-wide cooperation. When you use Nozbe as a team, not only do you get a fantastic task and project planner, but you also get access to features that make teamwork easier and more effective. In the previous part of this tutorial, we learned where you can find all of your team members in Nozbe. Now, let's focus on how you can get everything done together. The video project we set up earlier needs a little help to get rolling. Let's invite a few people who can lend a hand. Here's a full list of your team members. Remember that even people who don't have a Nozbe account can join a project. They'll receive a link that lets them access the project without signing up. This way, you can communicate with anyone in any project using comments in Nozbe. Just enter the email address of someone you want to work with and click on the plus button. As you can see, the project's icon has changed so that we know that this project is not private anymore. The person who creates a project becomes its admin. Only an admin can invite new people to a project, remove members from a project, mark it as completed, or delete it entirely. Each project can have more than one admin. Pro users can assign 2 admins per project, while business users can assign an unlimited number of admins in every project. Task delegation. Let's get started by listing everything that needs to happen to make a great video for the website. Some tasks require a specialist. That is why we invited somebody new to this project. The graphic designer isn't on our team, but it doesn't matter. In Nozbe, you can share your projects with anyone you wish. Communication through tasks. Communicating through tasks is powerful and lets us respect other people's time and focus. In order to get a good thumbnail, I need to describe what I want in detail. As you might remember from an earlier tutorial, when you delegate a task to someone, it will show up on their priority list. This means that our graphic designer will receive the information and won't forget about it. Okay, so now you can see why it's better to communicate through tasks than via email. Both Sarah and I can see all the comments because we are in the project. Note, though, that the task delegated to the graphic designer is only on his priority list, not Sarah's or mine. He is the only person who should do something to move the task forward at this stage. The communication and decision-making in shared projects take place in comments and via delegation. If someone wants to ask for details about the tasks that are delegated to them, they write a comment in the task. The other people in the project see a new comment, read it, and reply. To make sure that a specific person reads your comment, you can mention their name in your comment using the @ character. The most effective way to get feedback is asking someone for a comment and delegating a task to this person. This way, you can be sure your colleague won't miss it. The task will appear on their priority list. Types of comments. Let's get back to comments. We can comment on a task in practically any way we wish. First of all, we can use markdown formatting so the comment isn't just plain text. You can also attach any kind of file. If Nozbe recognizes your file format, for example a picture, it will show you a thumbnail. You can also add a YouTube link to your comment and it will be converted to a playable video. Text and files are not the only things we can include in comments. Nozbe integrates with services like Dropbox, Evernote, Google Drive, and more. You'll see how it works in the next part of this tutorial. Another way to comment on a task is with a checklist that you can tick off step by step. One more thing, every comment has its own drop-down menu. Look. Here we can edit a comment or pin it to the top of the comments view. Sarah has just added an important comment to this task, but I still want to have my checklist on top. Let's pin it. The Copy to Clipboard option copies the whole comment. When you use this feature, the whole text with its markdown formatting will be copied so you can paste it nicely formatted into any app that recognizes markdown syntax. We can also convert a comment into a task. As you can see, Sarah's feedback is an actionable item. Let's change it to a separate task. Of course, the original comment won't be deleted, so the conversation history will still be intact. The last feature in this menu is Delete a Comment. I don't think I need to explain that one. Pro tip. As usual, I have a pro tip for you. Let's go back to the checklist feature. You might remember that in one of the previous episodes of this video tutorial, you learned how to convert a task into a project. Let's do that with this task. Since it has a checklist as one of the comments, voila! All the checklist items were converted into tasks in the new project. It's very useful if you create a checklist and decide that a task has grown so much that it should become a separate project. That's all. Now you know your options for making cooperation even more powerful. You can get started with my tips and even think of new ways to use Nozbe features for teamwork. If you want to learn more about some interesting use cases, visit our blog at nozbe.com/blog and get even more done. With Nozbe, Team View. In a previous tutorial, we explained how the calendar in Nozbe works. It provides a chronological view of the whole team's tasks. Now, let's take a look at the team's workload from another perspective. In the team view, you can quickly see all the tasks in the projects that you are in. In contrast to the project list view, this is where you can see a single list with all the tasks that are assigned to a specific person sorted by project. You don't need to be the team admin to access this section. Let's have a look at our small team section. I'm sure Sarah and our graphic designer are pretty busy. When you enter Team View, you will see all your coworkers. You are at the very top. Below, you can see your team admins followed by team members and then people from outside your team who you share projects with. If you are the team admin, you can add new team members here. There is another YouTube video dedicated to this topic and you can find the link in the description of this video. This view is especially great if you are a team leader. You can easily review your team's tasks and progress here. Of course, you only see tasks from the projects you are a part of. You have no access to your subordinates' private projects. As a regular team member, you can also be curious about what your colleagues are working on. TeamView is the perfect place for that. Integrations, email and external services. If you use Dropbox, Evernote, Google Drive, or other supported cloud services, you can integrate them with Nozbe to be even more productive. Once you connect your favorite apps to Nozbe, you will be able to easily attach files and notes to your tasks and projects. Just go to Settings in Nozbe and choose Integrations. Here you'll find a list of services that you can integrate with your account. Just click the Connect button and go through the integration process. If you find the procedure complicated, we've got a dedicated tutorial for every app. You'll find the links in the description of this video. Okay. Sometimes it makes much more sense to link a file in a task than to upload it as a comment. Here's an example. I wrote a script for the video and now I need Sarah's feedback. The file with the script is in the Dropbox folder that's shared with her. Let's add it as a comment and ask Sarah what she thinks about the storyline. This way, Sarah doesn't need to download a file, edit it, and upload it again. She can review and modify the script directly in the text file on her computer. The Dropbox link in the task comment will be valid even after Sarah's edits. Now, let's pin it to the top so that the most recent version of the document is always at our fingertips. This is only one example of how handy Nozbe integrations are. The possibilities are endless, and you can still store your notes in Evernote, your files in Dropbox, and your tasks in Nozbe. Email integration. We talked about email integration in the second part of this video series. As you might remember, you can add tasks by sending an email to your personal Nozbe email address that can be easily found and modified in Settings. Any email forwarded to your Nozbe email address will be automatically converted into a task in your Nozbe app. As you can see, your email subject line becomes a task name and the body of the message will be converted into a task comment. Let's manually add this task to a shared project and ask the team what they think. That was just the beginning. Using email integration, you can add multiple tasks to Nozbe at once. Just start every line of your email with a period and a space. Then write down as many tasks as you'd like. You can also add a comment to each task by writing it on the line below the task name. Keep in mind that if you use this method, your email subject line won't be taken into account. This is a great way to speed things up. To optimize your actions even more, you can add your Nozbe email address to your contacts. What about task parameters? No worries. You can set a task deadline, time needed, responsibility, etc. via email using a hashtag and a relevant parameter, date, time, or colleague's name. If you like working with checklists, you can add a task with one via email too. Check out this example. The email subject line will become the task name. To create a checklist, write down your checklist items. Remember to open each line with a dash in parentheses. If you wish to mark any of your checklist items as done, use a plus sign instead of a dash. Pro tip. As usual, we'll wrap this part up with a special tip. It's also possible to add a comment to an existing task via email. In the subject line, write a hashtag, task, : and follow it with the task name. Then, type your comment in the body of the message and send the email to your personal Nozbe email address. Nozbe is smart. You don't have to write the entire task name. One word or even a few letters will be enough, although you need to make sure the phrase you use only matches the desired task. If it matches other tasks too, the comment will be randomly assigned to one of them. The same rule works for parameters. If you want to add a task to the project called the firm, it's enough to use hashtag firm when using email integration. Remember that you can't have any other projects containing firm on your project list in order for this to work. Project templates and Nozbe How shared templates. You can use them for projects you repeat a lot, so you don't have to start from scratch every time. Create templates for introducing a new team member, preparing a monthly report for your client, publishing a blog post, or building a new website. To view all your templates, go to the Templates section. Here you can also create a new template. Just click the plus button and start adding tasks. You can also convert an existing project into a template. Consider our new website project. There is a chance we will redesign or build a new website pretty soon for another product or campaign. Besides, it's great to share knowledge with other people. You might know someone who is planning to start a business and he will have to set up a cool website for it. Let's see how it works. We open the source project, go to the info bar and use the Create Template button. Now, let's enter a name and hit Enter or click Create. As you can see, the color of the project was transferred to my new project template. Let's work on the template for a bit. We can add a few things to make it more universal and useful for other people. Now the list looks more complete and it can be used for a project every time a new website needs to be set up. How do you start a project from a template? It's easy. Let's select Create Project in the info bar and the new project will go live. Here we are. We've just tweaked our template in the Templates view. It's also possible to edit it via Project. This one was created from a template. After talking to John about his experiences, I realized we missed an important stage when working on our project. These are very important steps, especially when building a website from scratch. Now, our simple guide for building a website is complete. Let's update the template too. You can do this in just one step from the project info bar. Our template has now been overwritten and is ready to be used in the future. Pro tip. Frequently used templates can be set up just like projects are. You can invite people and delegate tasks to them. This doesn't mean the invited people will see this template in their template view or that they will be notified in any way. The only reason you can and should do this is to set up a 100% ready project template so that when you launch it, all invitations and delegations will be sent automatically. Templates let you save some precious time and get rid of the hustle of repeating yourself on every project. Nozbe How shared project templates. Templates are a real time and energy saver, but that's not all. You can also use the Nozbe How feature and show your project templates to the world. Nozbe users create tons of different templates: training plans, cookbooks, processes, and routines like podcast production or weekly review. We wanted to give them the opportunity to share their knowledge and experience. Sharing is great, and Nozbe How makes it easier and more fun. Just select Share Your Template in your template's info bar and a public Nozbe How link will be generated. You can post it on social media or send it to a friend to show how you work. Remember to use the Nozbe How hashtag so we can find it and add it to our library at nozbe.how. One more thing, your shared project templates are linked with our affiliate program, so you can earn money by sharing knowledge with friends. You can find out more about that at nozbe.club. Search. Did you know that there are 2 ways to search for items in Nozbe? There is the search bar at the top of the project list. This will help you easily find a project you want to work on. Another, more exhaustive method is the search module. Here, you can search for a specific phrase and tasks and comments across your entire account. Use this feature when you don't know exactly where to find a task you delegated to your colleague some time ago, or when hunting for that conversation you know you had with your boss before Christmas. Nozbe remembers your search history so you can always repeat your search with just one step. You can also delete your previous searches using the Clear History button at the bottom of the list. Of course, you can filter the search results in the info bar the way you would in every other Nozbe view. This is very handy when the list turns out to be really long. Filtering and sorting possibilities. These are useful when you have lots of tasks and lots of different projects. You can apply filters and sort tasks in a number of different places in Nozbe. Let's use the search results list from a previous tutorial first. Suppose I want to see only the tasks delegated to me. Now look at the filtering options again. The list of possible filters is much shorter now. That's because these are the only filters that can be applied to the results. Let's add another filter. Now, we have two filters added to this view. We can delete one of them using the X button next to the filter name. Remember, you can filter your tasks by categories, labels, delegation, project and due dates, among other things. And it's possible in every single task list in Nozbe. Filtering works in the project view, the calendar in the team view, and most importantly, within your priority list, since that is the place where you'll spend most of your time in Nozbe. Sorting works in the same places in the app. Note that the task order in all of your projects is synced. That's why the sorting option is not present and works pretty much like filters. When you turn it off, everything goes back to the previous order. You can sort your tasks in many ways. Apart from arranging them alphabetically, by due date or creation date, you can also sort your tasks by something like the number of comments. Like I said though, it's not a permanent change. You can turn off sorting using the X button. Mobile access. To wrap up everything we discussed, we want to make sure you know how handy it is to use Nozbe on various devices, not just your office computer. As we said earlier, the cool thing about Nozbe is that the mobile app works really similarly to the desktop version. They have exactly the same features too. That's because one of our company values is to be mobile. We want to make sure you can be productive anywhere at any time. To make using Nozbe on mobile devices even easier, you can customize certain gestures. Go into Settings and select General in Nozbe on your phone or tablet. Here, you can decide what happens if you swipe left or right on a task. You can change task parameters or move from a task to its project view with just one swipe. Need to jump from your priority list to the project view? Swipe, and here you are. Android widgets. If you're an Android user, you can set up a widget on your home screen and put your priority list on your most important project there. This way, you've got them at your fingertips. iOS Share Sheet. You can also use the Share Sheet extension on your iOS devices. It works with just about any app, and you can share as much stuff as you want. For instance, you can add multiple screenshots from photos to Nozbe at once. You can also use the hashtag notation to add some attributes to the task with shared items. Notifications. Nozbe is designed to be your perfect assistant. In order to help you remember stuff and always be up to date, it can notify you about important things. You can set up email notifications or push notifications on your mobile device or Mac. For task deadlines, project invitations, delegated tasks, and whenever your name is mentioned in a comment. You can enable or disable each of these options in your account settings. When you receive a notification about a delegation or mention, you can reply to this comment directly from the notifications. You may also mark the task in which you were mentioned as a priority without opening the Nozbe app. Apple Watch. Nozbe is also available on Apple Watch. The potential of this small device is impressive. You can see your priority list, check comments and tasks, and reply to comments using voice recognition, straight from your wrist. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about productivity, you can get practical tips and tricks and join the fantastic Nozbe community by visiting our blog at nozbe.com/blog and subscribing to our social media channels on Facebook and Twitter. You'll find the links in the description of this video. You can also check out our business tutorial where we show you how to create and manage a new team in Nozbe. As you've learned in these tutorials, collaboration is powerful. That brings us to the last productivity tip in this video series. Don't waste your time trying to do everything by yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at questions@nozbe.com. It doesn't even have to be in English. Feel free to use your own language, if it's listed on the very bottom of our nozbe.com site. Thanks for watching. We hope you get everything done with Nozbe.